systematic routes in which the American system has caused the colored community to scramble, to isolate, has been inherent through the evident separation that has occurred not only amongst white people and black people, but the separation of, should I say, black people as a whole. Once upon a time, or should I not even account this as history? For the sake of of this argument, we're going to pretend that whatever happened prior did not occur. But let's just say that whites were separated, blacks were separated. Colored people, being the black people, had communities, had infrastructure, had schools, there was culture. And I'm not talking about the brainwashed puppet culture that they select a few black people to represent the black community. And because one of them is granted white success, that the whole community is assumed to have the same. I'm talking about, we had phenomenal band players. We had phenomenal situations in which black gatherings could take place. And today, when you see the state of colored people, you will rarely see situations in which colored people can stick together. There has been a scattering completely of, should I say, the colored masses. And beyond that scattering, there lies a sellout nature in which there are people who even share colored skin, but have tried to convince themselves to the deep core root of their own DNA that they are better than other colored people, and perhaps that they are extinct from other colored people, by trying to extinguish the colored nature or dehumanize or depreciate the brother or the sister who is working day in and day out to alleviate the stereotype that has been oppressing the community, and still continues to do so onwards to this day. And because of this, you will find that colored people are in worse conditions. They are faced with worse housing conditions than have ever been seen before, worse financial conditions, and ultimately worse living conditions, worse schooling conditions, to which the colored IQ has dropped significantly, the dropout rate has dropped significantly. All of this is what the white people do their absolute best to hide by essentially handpicking, as I mentioned, a few people of color who they are convinced they can use, and who they convince they can actually turn around and convince with a white smile and with a white dollar that the status this colored person can achieve within the white community is far greater than the status this person can achieve with their own people. And because of this turnaround, this colored person is mistaken for a brother or a sister by many other colored people who may be convinced, due to the inherent biological compound of this person, they are never actually aware that this colored person has been selected, is controlled by the white dollar, is controlled by the white system, and has actually convinced themselves that the white supremacy has been enough to convince the satisfaction and the living conditions in which they are faced with. And the borderline situation you will find with all of these people is that the common thing the puppets or the sellout colored person has with the authentic colored person has is both have been tricked by the white community into believing that taking down another brother or a sister is the ultimate root cause of the agenda, that being part of the black struggle is something to be ashamed of, that being black is something to be ashamed of, that we hold no cultural pride in being black, just simply due to the only reason that white people do not accept us within their educational institutions, that they do not accept the natural features of a black man, whether that be the natural hair of a black man or the natural culture of a black man. You will never find this problem present within other cultures who, similar to the colored people, have also faced some levels of systematic hostility. You will find that throughout all of this, many groups who have also undergone great tribulation around the world have been able to maintain their communities and their cultures. It is only the colored people who have this sick inherent problem where not only do we have to deal with the white masses who have been against us since birth, but we also have to deal with the brainwashed, bougie, black, white-minded thinkers who, for some reason, feel the need to carry out the white legacy by scrutinizing their own kind on the spot, by refusing to acknowledge with the black struggle on the spot. These people have been sick. These people have been the core root problem of the colored community, to the point where we as the colored people and the authentic colored people would never acknowledge such a sellout as part of our struggle. But because they share the same skin and the same heritage as us, despite the brainwashing, they still represent the calamity of the colored community and the complete destruction that has occurred within the colored community, all because of the fact that they are seen, they are as colored as a rainbow as far as anybody is concerned. And even white people know this, but the white people have tricked them into thinking that because they live within white status, that they can be seen amongst the white masses. And even the smallest child of a colored person who may have been brainwashed by such a situation, deep down into the core root of himself would know that this brainwashing still exists within the elders and their inability to actually, and should I just say some elders, not all, but the particular ones who actively work to scrutinize other colored people for trying to achieve something out of a system that was not made for them. It's this is a reoccurring pattern to which you will find that many colored people have had to undergo, and that many colored people are beginning to wake up to, and that many colored people have sadly undergone these complex dynamics, to where now, because such a culture exists, the levels of trust can no longer be established amongst our own kind. The level of brotherhood that once existed and was once the most culturally important part of our establishment as black people has been ruined, has been disgusted by these brainwashed, white-minded black puppets who claim to convince themselves that they have everything white when they are further away from the identity of the cause. And for as long as you realize this, you may actually understand that the reality of the situation is that for as long as you convince yourself that this system is everything you need, you will eventually grow to realize that it was nothing more than a trick And the white people know this, and that is exactly why they don't come knocking on your doorstep. That is exactly why they don't even bother to even be seen with you. They're ashamed if your kids are even seen in proximity with their kids. That's why they drive your kids to the lowest population amongst their communities and their schools. But sadly, you have these tricked puppets who have convinced themselves that they need to do the same thing that white people have been doing to black people, to their own kind, refusing to acknowledge them as their own kind, and refusing to obey the white landlord as their master and the white law as their master, rather than acknowledging the revolution that many black people have put in place to actually put forward an initiative to establish even a momentary appreciation for the black community. These people have only led us aback and led us astray and led us further, should I say, from some of the pressing circumstances that you will find have been unsolved within the colored community. And for as long as they remain unsolved, the level of brainwashing is something that I must address, and the inability to acknowledge that as the core root. I cannot tell you how many people will actually perish from the inability to further understand the inherent cause, along with the reality that such a situation can have, and as a detrimental effect, not only to the one who caused it, but to the people who refuse to acknowledge that such a situation exists.